Okay, so let's start recording. Welcome to the video. So this is a review of for Rocco's Scrim team. So apparently she has a team she's playing in a community cup, whereby different states in the US they're forming teams to play against each other. So from what she has told me is that these teams they are not of the same SR, but they are in the same region or probably in a similar postal code or probably in the same state. So they are all of different levels of so-called different competitive levels. So among her team, she has, I believe, plat to silver players, and among the enemy team, there's up to diamond to maybe gold players. I'm not too sure, but some of the players are pretty good. And I should review this mostly from her team's perspective. That means Team Blue. So I should review most of this from a Team Blue perspective. And let's take a look. So can we speed it up? Yeah, speed it up first. Okay.
Hang in there.
Let's see. Okay, first and foremost, let's look at team comp. So going with what we will usually call a brawl combination, a brawl comp, which is a team composition that you want to fight close up because you have the Reaper, you have the Mei, which is all close range attacks, as well as Reinhardt close range, and you have the Zara to give Reinhardt bubbles, and that's for the DPS as well. So healers wise, Lucio for the speed, we have a Moira for close range heal, so everything is a brawl combination. Let's see how this matches up to the enemy comp. Enemy comp is also running a very similar, kind of in between, not fully brawl comp, but they have an Ana. So we do have the advantage here because the Ana actually can't get long range heals from this particular part of the map. We call this I don't know whether we call this temple or what. I I'm not sure about this particular version of this part of Nepal, but basically an Ana has to come up close range, which is right behind her tanks in order to get her heals off. If she stands far away here, she's gonna have limited vision, so she can't heal people that are covered by these pillars or behind these walls. Right. So playing an Ana here is to blue team's advantage. So okay, we utilize the walls well. So main wall usage is really good. I've watched all 5 games before, and I have noticed that uh Plum Papa is the flex DPS for Team Blue. He's generally a good player. He has a very diverse hero pool. He can play heroes from Mei to McCree to Farah to I believe Genji. So very diverse hero pool. Definitely one of the strengths of Team Blue. One of the better players. But the tanks are not bad as well. So we'll see that this is a good Mei wall here, and Cozy goes up close. Good Zara bubble here to help protect the Reinhardt as well as to farm Zara damage. And so I don't know whether the team is focusing down the Rein or focusing down the Zarya, but where's the... Yeah, so they're missing a little bit of DPS from the reloading Reaper here, but they should call quick to focus someone. And I think they were a little bit distracted there. Wait, did they get the Zarya? Wait, what's the enemy Zarya? Wait, where? Wait, where is the enemy Zarya? No. Oh, how did... Oh. No. We're looking for the enemy Zarya? Wait, where's the enemy Zarya? 7 F8. Okay. Yeah, enemy Zarya is right here. So they should be focusing down one particular hero, which in this case best be the Reinhardt, and then the Zarya next. But earlier the blue team's Zarya seems to be focusing on the enemy Zarya, so there was some miscommunication. Reaper has to be forced to face away, but eventually they defeat both tanks. So all good. So this team fight should be a win. Let's speed this up. Yep. So just clean up, clean up. So generally for KOTH maps, you want to win and you want to win fast. So you want to win as cleanly as possible so that you can cap the point fast. Okay. Okay, let's go back a little bit. I fast forward a little bit too much. Okay, so look at blue team's position. So positioning here is decent because there's this choke point between these two choke points. So it's good to fight the enemy. Actually, at the choke points here is not really such a good position because the enemy team can wrap around you and pincer. So this position where they're standing here, where the right hand is standing, is decent as well. But then again, this wall is a little bit too big for Mei to wall off. What I would suggest is using this as a Mei wall off. That means lure the enemy through this small choke point. Once, for example, let's say this Zarya overpokes, you can wall off the Zarya here, and then the Reinhardt and the rest of the team can push in. Because once this wall is up, even though the enemy team can move around here, they're going to take at least about 3 to 5 seconds to position around. And 3 to 5 seconds is more than enough time to kill off one single isolated enemy that is isolated from the main wall. So there's that. Okay. Okay, still recording. Okay, that's good. So I do not know whether the Mei walls of here could poke damage. Okay. Yeah, so the flex DPS does well here, so Plum Papa understands his role well. That's a good wall off, and the team should be pushing. So Plum Papa pushes forward, but you can see KOTH backing off. And where's the enemy Zarya? As in, where's blue Zarya? So blue Zarya, yeah, also didn't push forward. Okay, so eventually KOTH did push forward a little bit late, but they managed to get the job done. Good. So that's good play. So again, good Mei wall from the flex DPS, blue flex DPS there. Okay, going for 1v1 with the McCree because it's just clean up, right? But somebody was contesting the point and Lucio went back to fight him. So generally, nothing wrong there. Basically, I think the Lucio should survive against the Genji for a fair bit. Lucio is one of the best survival healers that we have in Overwatch. Oh, okay, the Mei was a little bit late on the ice block. Okay, they managed to get the McCree and it was a cleanup. So at the same time, I guess the Lucio was calling for help. Then Johizi, which is the Reaper player, faced back and to provide some support. Genji should be able to get away, yeah. So Genji gets away, but teamfight is won. Okay, so Genji should die here because he has used up his dash. Wait, the tracking from the Zarya... Zarya should have been able to finish him. What was wrong? Let's go back a little bit more. Yeah. Okay. The tracking could have been way better. Zarya is playing on quite a high sense. Okay, nice bubble. Okay, so blue team hosts here, good position again, so we're gonna use the Mei wall again. So red team understands that the Mei wall is something that couldn't get past, so they go high ground. So this is the alternative path that opposing teams will use on this map, which is also a good, it's a good way to get around Mei walls. And when they see this, so I believe blue team goes further back. But anyway, my comment for Rodzilla, which is the blue Zarya, is that if you're gonna use Zarya a lot, you gotta be really good at tracking. So if generally for tracking, high sensitivity is not that great. Probably if you want to practice your tracking or improve your tracking, you might want to lower your sense by at least half, at least 50% to 25% from what I saw earlier. Because lower sense is better for tracking, but not as good for quick reactions and flick game. If you're a flick game player, like maybe a Pharah or like a Genji, where you need a lot of quick flick aims and quick reactions, especially as a Genji player, then High Sense is more suitable for that. Or like someone like a Lucio, which moves around really quickly, looks around a lot of times, so that will be good for High Sense. Or like a Reinhardt is also good for High Sense as well. But for a Zarya player, actually, it's better to have a low sense, because for Zarya and soldiers, where you need a lot of tracking, you probably want to play a very low sense, not very low, but lower sensitivity to improve your tracking. So, okay, so blue team fell back here, which is a decent position because you get cover from the pillars. So generally, I see that KOTH, which is the blue main tank, is generally a good player. He understands his positioning pretty well. Like, he understands where to get cover, understands shield upkeep, so he upkeeps his shield very well. He brings his shield down whenever it's not needed, so that his shield life is extended. He can have a higher shield uptime. And in this case, for blue team, actually pretty straightforward. Just any point that the Reinhardt pushes through. If the Reinhardt pushes through this choke, wall him off, he's dead. If he pushes through here, wall him off, he should be dead. Yeah, so it should be a very clear-cut team fight once we get a good Mei wall off. So you can see red team hesitating. Oh, so instead they go okay, because the Mei has ultimate, so she goes for this play, which is a good play as well because she walls off both the Ana, the Zarya, as well as the Rein, and she's gonna catch all three of them with Mei out. Yep. So red team did. So the red team players did a good play as well. They dropped down because pushing forward would be death. So dropping down was the best option that they had, but yep. So yeah, so it's clean up here. Generally in KOTH maps, the team that wins the first team fight has a huge advantage. So in KOTH maps, sometimes we gotta think of what would be the best composition to win the first fight, instead of having a team comp that wins the late game. So you might want to select team comps that win early team fights. So yeah, red team is just desperate now, and blue team cleans up. Nothing much to comment on here. So essentially, once blue team won that first fight in the center with that good Mei wall, the map was more or less mostly decided, and they did well for the second fight, which is the second fight near that part, near the choke point there. And yeah, this part was hilarious. Like I was watching this this hamster, we call it hamster, we call it Hammond. This Hammond like drag on the fight for so long. So basically it seems like blue team has a little bit of inexperience dealing with Hammonds. We already have a Mei, so a Mei is pretty good against Hammond. So by walling off this like this, the Hammond can't move, but instead I would rather position the wall maybe here, because most of their teammates are here, right? So you might want to position the wall here, so when the Hammond runs into the wall, there's no other way for the Hammond to go except to reverse. And because the team is here, he's pinched between the Rein as well as the Reaper. You can do lots of damage to that so-called trapped Hammond before he can escape. Because if you wall off here, it's a little bit too like doesn't make sense, right? Because you wall off here, you wall off your Rein from doing damage to him. So what's the Hammond gonna do? He's just gonna run the reverse direction and delay the point some more, and he did. And then our Mei player dies, so there's no other way to control Hammond. Hammond gets out, and he's pretty low now, Hammond. Another point is that I think Lucio's, yeah, you see, Lucio can boop the Hammond. I don't know whether it was patched, but yeah, maybe it was patched. So just an update, the last that I played Overwatch was a few, like half a year ago or something. So I'm pretty outdated when it comes to hero patches as well as the meta. So you gotta forgive me if I am not too familiar with the latest hero interactions. Yeah. So see, before the Mei comes back, there's just nothing to sustain, and the Mei is caught dealing with a Tracer. Healers, you really need to heal your Mei because your Mei is key the key hero to stopping the Hammond. And the Hammond is the one that just is giving you guys such a hard time with this last point. So you really have to prioritize healing your Mei, keeping your Mei full health, so that and keeping pesky heroes like Tracers from distracting your Mei as well, because your Mei's job in this case is to get a good wall up and isolate and kill off the Hammond. That's oh no, the Mei has no. Oh no, the Mei dies again. Oh no. Healers. Yeah, it's really not the Mei's fault, no. In a 1v1 against Mei versus Tracer, the Tracer definitely has the advantage there. Unless the Mei lands a headshot with a right click. Because you can't really freeze the Tracer will stay out of range. And once Mei uses her ice block once, that's it. She doesn't have any other way of healing or protecting herself. Yeah, so that's not the Mei's fault for dying there. It's more like the healer or tank's fault for not keeping her alive. But eventually you guys clean up. Yeah, took a long while.
Ready for battle.
Okay. And okay, so let's go to this map. So this is, I believe, Temple. I'm not too sure whether this is what it's called, Temple, and same thing. So this is a KOTH map. So like I mentioned, KOTH map, we always think of selecting a team comp that wins the first fight earlier, and the team with the Lucio generally has a bigger advantage. You can see that red team is not running any Lucio, but they're running something like a poke composition. It's a yeah, it's a poke composition in a way. Are they gonna come up with that hero set? Let's take a look. Yeah, okay. So red team comes with a hybrid combination. So Hawk is good in this case because Hawk has been buffed quite a fair bit. So high survivability, as well as you can pull people off to the ledge. So generally, red team is the one that want to play around the edge, and blue team is the one that is going to get to the point first and going to brawl here. So the best place to brawl would be this corridor here. You can either go here, or if you are fast enough, you can push up to here. You can brawl the enemies here because they have difficulty coming through this choke point. Generally, as a brawl comp, you do want to avoid fighting here because, for example, the Hawk can hook you off the ledges and stuff like that. Or like if you have they have a Zen there, so the Zen can poke you out with a long range ops as well as Discord ops. So generally you do not want to fight in the open here. You want to fight in a closed space in the corridor here or along the corridors here. You want to camp the enemy behind these doorways. And I think that's what you guys did. Yep. So see, the KOTH understands his role. So KOTH is pretty good tank player, main tank player from what I've seen from all the 5 games. Not much to complain about. Just as long as you keep this up, your team should do pretty well. So KOTH immediately goes to this corridor to contest this corridor, but the rest of the team, yeah, Mei player is checking the flanks, but it's slow, man. It's slow, and you can see the Lucio is trying to get back to ferry the rest of the team, so the team is separated here. So you guys just lost the advantage of running a Lucio. The purpose of running a Lucio on a KOTH maps is to get to the point of contest fast, quickly, so that you get the high ground or you get the space first, and your opponent has to fight against your death ball or against your brawl comp. So in this case, I want to see what happened a little bit here. We call this the rollout. That means how you guys exit the spawn door. So I want to see what happens during the rollout phase. Okay, so Ryan charges. Did the Lucio run speed boost? No. Okay. Okay. So the team should be calling for right or left. Okay, so Lucio speed boosts here, but goes the wrong way, goes left. This is a team composition error. I mean, this is team communication error, because in this case you should follow your main tank. So I'm not sure who's the shot caller in Team Blue for now, But generally, the shot caller or where to go should either be the main tank or the main support. But it would be good if your main tank takes up the role of the shot caller, like as in calling for where the team direction, like we should move where, like team we should move right, let's move right here and let's fight at this corridor. Like the main tank should, because the main tank has the best experience knowing what is a good position for his Reinhardt to have the best advantage, whereby this Lucio player Ironheart, I've looked at all the 5 games. He has some slip ups. Maybe he's, I have heard from Rocker that he's maybe a silver ranked support player, so he might not be the most experienced player in Overwatch. So hence it would be best if you leave your shot calling to your main tank. And in this case, yeah, the whole team should have followed the main tank. The Lucio should have followed the main tank as well, and speed aura and speed boosted the whole team to the right. So big communication error here. Somebody caught going left, and probably the main tank caught going right, and which caused your team to split up. So in this case, it becomes a really dangerous situation for the Rhine. The Rhine could have been isolated and killed if they had been running like a Mei and Lucio comp, which you guys did not know because you only see that their team comp once they reach here. So we lose the big advantage of not fighting here, not reaching here on time. Yeah, which caused your Rhine to have to back off. So we're losing this ground here. His shield is close to being broken. He has to back off. Bubbles are being used. The Mei wall is being used in this weird location here, which is not going to isolate anyone, because the Doomfist can just uppercut around it. And which, yeah, did. So the Mei wall has to be used here. So the Mei player, Plum Papa, this spot, this is the best spot. You should have been here from the start. So even though Plum Papa is a good player, he's been doing well most of the fights, but this is a big screw up here. So team should have gone to the right, should have played here, should have isolated, like if you have isolated this, was this a Reaper? This Reaper, you have forced him to phase. After phasing, he will have died because there's nowhere for him to phase to. He has to jump off the map or teleport away. We have forced the Hawk to either die or use his heals. Yeah, big screw up. Leading your team to lose the fight. So because the team was separated, so Brawlcom being separated equals no more Brawlcom, equals defeat. So Brawlcom, stick together. Brawlcom is like a death ball. It's like if any of you guys played StarCraft 2, like if you have gone against Protoss death balls with like all their Protoss machinery and their high Templars and everything clumped up together. Yeah, so then whenever the Protoss moves, all the enemy Zerg dies and stuff like that. So like a Brawlcom is like a Protoss death ball. You have to stay bundled together, and that's where the strength of it is. Yeah, so you guys lose this fight, quite obvious. And the reason for defeat was quite obvious as well, because you guys was undecided during the rollout phase on whether to go left or right, which isolated your Rhine, and he died. Okay, so now fighting against out of this choke. And if you notice, they don't have a Mei, so red team has practically no way of holding this choke point. So your team should be able to breeze through this. And yep, good switch to McCree here. That was a really good switch from Plum Papa to go McCree. So that flash instantly killed off the Doomfist. I guess he picked it as a counter pick for Doom, because that flash right click is an instant counter, a pretty easy counter against Doomfist as well. So they can't escape, can't run away. So you guys go 1-up and you should push this. So just push forward, push forward, the Rhine should die and you guys win this. Okay, so even though Plum Papa screwed up initially with his Mei, that means he went the wrong way. He recovered himself, redeemed himself with a quick switch to McCree and instantly got a pick. Okay, so enemy flex DPS instantly switched to Hanzo because he realized that there's a McCree. His Doomfist has no longer any use for him, no longer any there's no longer any use for a Doomfist there, and you guys push up to this point, which I wholeheartedly agree, because yeah, pushing ahead is fine as long as you don't die, because you have a Zara bubble. So holding here, holding in this point is really good, because since even though you guys do not have a Mei, a Reinhardt that is holding through this choke point is really strong, because you can just hammer swing to get damage, while you have a Zara bubble and you can just hide behind here to avoid range fire, like avoid the fire from Hanzo and stuff. Yep. So and yeah, you guys understand it. So another thing for Lucio players is that always wall climb. It will be difficult for like a silver or gold rank Lucio to understand this. But if you are honestly gonna main Lucio and you want to improve in Lucio, always wall climb. You gotta think of like the floor is lava. It's like the floor is lava challenge. Just imagine the floor is lava and never ever touch the floor if it's possible. Because by being always wall climbing, you are so-called immune in a way to Reinhardt Earth Shatters, and a lot of the enemy ultimates will not be able to get you in the way. Like you are free, you don't get affected by a lot of enemy ultimates and a lot of ground abilities. Like enemy Reinhardts can't reach you from the ground. Reaper can't really reach you because you're up there in the walls and everything. So and you get a better view. So when you're up there, you get a better view of the action. You get a top-down view of where the enemy is and where your team is, and you can make better decisions. So generally, always stay on the wall as a Lucio whenever there is a wall. Or if there's no wall, you stay on like you just wall climb a pillar or somewhere that you can get high ground from. Okay, that hook was big. So he gets hooked and he gets isolated, he dies. Yeah, that was a huge hook. And even though you guys lost the main tank, yeah, you guys should manage to grind this out to a stalemate, I guess. Yeah, that's the advantage of holding this choke. Even though their Hawk did the best play ever to hook your main tank to get out of position, like he isolated your main tank here, you guys still managed to like drag this out to a draw. So that's the power of this position here. Okay, so the Zara falls back. Choice. Okay, so the main tank is back. Nice. And this position is terrible, because not only would you get hooked by the hawk and thrown off the ledge, you also will get pincer attacked by the enemy that's coming out from the other doorway. So this moving here, this holding, never hold this position. This position is terrible. This is position that just invites you guys to get pincered. And as I expected, yeah, you guys immediately lost this fight because you guys got pincered, man. The enemy 2 DPSs, the Reaper and the McCree came from your back, while you guys were pincered from the front by a Hawk and a Reinhardt. There's just no way you guys could have survived. Okay. So if you notice how quick you guys lost that fight, you have understood how bad that position was. So just to recap, it's either you guys hold this position, that means hold the doorway, the inside doorway, or if you are getting out, you can either speed yourself to this position. If they're going to contest the point, then you can just rotate around and contest the point here. Just fight and brawl here in the open space. Because once they're going to the point, you're not really like you're not that scared of range attack, so you want to get up close to the enemy as a brawl comp, so you can rotate around here, but never hold this position here. So looking back, what would have been the alternative is that if we are backing out from this position here, you could either come to here, hold here, and let's see if they go to point. If they go to point, you guys could drop down this chimney and contest the point from inside, which is pretty good, because you, as a brawl comp, you want the enemy to come to you, right? So even though they're contesting the point, you can like touch a little bit, then draw them in. If the enemy gets baited in, you should be able to win here because it's close range. Your Reinhardt can do a lot of damage. If worse come to worse, that you have to contest the point, the whole team can come out, push out from here and just fight them in the open. So it'll be 50-50. Of course, they have the advantage of holding here, but if you speed through the whole choke and they don't have a Mei, there is a way better position than holding here. So that means if we lose this point and we have to fall back, we could fall back here, fight them here in this open space where they have to push through this doorway, or we could fall back here, fight them here. If they rotate to the point, we can drop down, contest the point from here, or alternatively, we could just fall back down the stairs and fall back near the point here. So this position will be another good place to fight because your Lucio will be able to boop enemies off the stairs, and the Reinhardt can take cover from the enemy fire and then just swing his hammer and damage around here. At the same time, you guys are contesting the point. So yeah, just that this is a death corridor right here for a defending team. Ugh. Indecisive. Like you guys have to pick left or right. Just push one way because the enemy team is split up. Right, you see the McCree poking through the right, and you see like the enemy Ryan, you see the tanks on the left. If I were you guys, I would instantly call McCree on the right. McCree on the right isolated, and we would speed through and rush the McCree because the McCree is basically a glass cannon. He is a fragile glass cannon. He has how much health? 225 health. Did he get boosted? I'm not too sure whether he got buffed or not. But 225 health, and his tanks are nowhere near him. He only has what, a Zen and a Moira healing him. There's no way he can withstand against 6 players bearing down on him, man. So once you see the enemy McCree, right, jump on the McCree because this is a recurring team whereby this Red McCree player, he has gone on a lot of flanks which went unpunished by the blue team. He was literally unpunished. So he got away with so many flanks, which is okay for a ranked game because in a ranked game you get random teammates every match. So the enemy team is not going to catch on to your flanking shenanigans that quickly. But in a scrim game, once you see the enemy McCree has a tendency to like to flank off on the off angle by himself, always have to look out for the McCree. That means once you see the McCree flanking, it's like Red McCree on the right, push him. Then Lucio speed and everybody pushes him and kills him, and you guys should win the team fight straight away. So this is indecisive. So your blue McCree understands. So he understands, he sees the McCree, instantly goes ahead, goes for the 1v1. But McCree runs away, so he sees the Zen instead. Zen was a juicier target. Yeah. And oh, I remember. So at this point, you guys only won this team fight because the Moira made a huge mistake. The Moira actually walked off the map. Here. Yeah. Yeah, the Moira walked off the map by herself. It was just a terrible mistake from the Moira. So Moira walked off the map, you guys instantly get a 5v6, and needless to say, you guys won the fight. So they were like, oh, we don't have a main healer, then their Reaper pieces out, so their Ryan gets isolated and you guys win the fight. So yeah, so there's not much analysis to it, just that you guys were gifted this fight by the enemy Moira. So, and you guys should be holding here, which I assume you did. Okay. No one was scouting. Was anyone scouting this part? Because you see, why holding here is good, because you get to see where the enemy team goes, right? You get to see whether the enemy team pushes here or rotates to the left. If they rotate to the left, you guys have a Lucio, you can still speed up and fight them here. Fight them at this choke point. So holding this point in order to get vision on where the enemy team is moving is pretty important. Like your Reinhardt can poke out, your Zarya can poke out. right? Because Zara has a bubble, the Reinhardt just can hold up his shield and just look around, look at where the enemy team is moving. So in this case, you guys have are blind to where the enemy is moving, and it was so once the enemy appears here, Evacuee sees, instantly throws a flash. Really good reactions from Plum Papa there. Reinhardt gets hooked again and dies. Nice graph there, really fat graph, but they have a Zen, so they don't die. So Red Reaper does a good move there. Blue Reaper, okay, still gets some kills, and it's a scrappy fight. Nice dodge by Plum Papa. Finishes off the Hawk, and he doesn't touch it. He doesn't touch the point, and you guys win it.
Victory.
Oof. So scrappy last fight because your Reinhardt got hooked again. That was the second time he got hooked. Okay, so that was it for game 1.